Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, coronavirus takes another life in Yellowstone County, bringing the state's total COVID-related deaths to 21. This as testing picks up across the state and health authorities announce another big jump in confirmed cases. Now, Riverstone health officials say a man in his 60s died Saturday in a local hospital, marking the fourth COVID-related death in Yellowstone County. Also, more confirmed positives across Montana. Today, 7 of those in Bighorn County. Over the weekend, several younger residents were confirmed positive. Local health authorities tell us that most of the kids in Bighorn County have been detected through contact tracing, and many of them have had symptoms, including a sore throat. Well, tonight there are 29 active cases in Bighorn County. Gallatin County is next at 25 and Yellowstone County at 21. A total of 166 active cases in Montana, with 13 people hospitalized. Now, Riverstone health officials tell Q2 that COVID-19 testing at Metro Park on Saturday served 463 people. Now, there are more than 1,500 testing kits left, and another free testing date will be set. Now, also, a local periodontist is stepping up to administer free COVID testing for asymptomatic people. Dr. Brian Fuller and staff will hold walk-up service at his office on Billings West End, and he hopes people turn out.
Unfortunately, we only have 300 of them. I wish I had 3,000 of them, but I think we'll go until we run out of tests or people stop showing up. So I think it'll be roughly around 2 o'clock is what we're shooting for. At first I was thinking I'll just do it for my patients, but then I thought, gosh, in the last 5 days I think Yellowstone County has added 16 or so cases, and it made me think there's a lot of people walking around Billings right now or Yellowstone County that probably have no symptoms. They don't know they're spreading it, and if we can do something to try and shrink that number and even if we just find 1 or 2 people that have it, didn't know they had it, and they're able to self-quarantine, what a great way to shut down this spread.
Now, the tests are first come, first serve, and it should take about 5 days for results to come back. For more information, log on to ktvq.com. Well, in Billings, a new apprenticeship program hopes to get high school students out of the classroom and on their way to becoming registered nurses. The best part? The students don't have to pay a dime. Q2's Mitch Laggy brings us the announcement from St. John's United Nursing Home.
7 nursing students are hoping to further their education and get out of it debt-free, thanks to a new nursing apprenticeship program being offered at St. John's United in Billings. The program was put together with the help of the Montana Youth Apprenticeship Partnership, an organization formed to train young Montanans in jobs that are predicted to see high demand in the future. This batch of apprentices will receive their schooling at either MSUB or Miles Community College, while at the same time getting hands-on experience in the field. The program is primarily for high school students, with the goal to get them to continue their career in Montana.
So we're excited about the partnership. We're excited about the economic vibrancy that this will create in our community to provide a future pipeline of healthcare employees that will be inspired by what I would call the social and bedside graces of senior care.
Another benefit for apprentices is that once they've completed their schooling, they can take a job wherever they want, instead of being tied down to St. John's. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Mitch. Now, the apprenticeship program was funded in part with the help of a $1 million gift from the Washington State-based Bruno and Evelyn Betty Foundation. Well, after a deadly weekend of motorcycle crashes on Montana roadways, we now know the name of a 54-year-old Billings man who died Sunday. Robert Charette was killed on the city center loop near King Avenue and Interstate 90 exit. Police say he lost control, slid into traffic, and was hit by a car exiting the King Avenue off-ramp. Yellowstone County Coroner Cliff Mahoney says Charette died of multiple blunt force injuries. 7 motorcycle crashes claimed the lives of 7 people across Montana this weekend. Well, Montana has one of the most watched U.S. Senate contests in the nation this year, as Democrats believe they have a chance to pick up a Republican seat, with Governor Steve Bullock challenging GOP incumbent Steve Daines. Well, so far the high-stakes race has been fairly quiet, but that's about to change. MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison tells us where this race stands and what to watch for in the months ahead.
Now that the primary election is behind us, Senator Daines and Governor Bullock are ready to rumble but part of their appeal to voters sounds remarkably similar.
I've been recognized as one of the most bipartisan, most effective senators.
Montana voters have seen how I've actually brought people together to get things done, and that's Democrats and Republicans.
Both men are aiming to capture swing voters in the political center, who usually decide close elections in Montana. Yet there are clear differences between the candidates, their campaigns, and message. Daines, a former executive for a Bozeman software development firm, says the election is about jobs and rebuilding the economy, where he has firsthand experience.
I'm the only candidate who knows how to actually create jobs and grow businesses. I spent 28 years in the private sector before getting in public service. We can't turn towards socialism. I think this election is going to be about who can best create jobs and bring back our jobs from overseas.
One of Daines' first campaign ads also takes after China over the coronavirus and jobs, a script being followed by many Republican Senate candidates across the country. He says he wants tax credits for companies who bring jobs from China back to America. Governor Bullock says it's time for a national infrastructure bill to help create jobs, but he'll be harping on health care and criticizing Daines for his votes to repeal the Affordable Care Act and not doing much to lower drug costs.
I mean, the idea that Costco or Walmart can negotiate prescription drug prices, but the federal government won't even do it because they're captured by the drug industry, those are simple, easy steps we ought to be able to take.
Daines and Bullock also will be debating the true impact of the 2017 federal tax cut passed by Republicans.
When you think of who really benefited from the $1.3 trillion of debt from these Trump tax cuts, it's not mainstream Montana.
Cutting taxes and putting more money in the pockets of hardworking Montanans, in the pockets of small businesses, is key.
And let's not forget something else, the Trump factor. The president likely will come to Montana to campaign for Senator Daines. Will that help him? Will Governor Bullock take on the president in Montana? We'll find out. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And MTN News will continue to bring you full coverage of this race and other major electoral contests of 2020 across Montana. Well, as the general election campaign for Montana's open governor seat kicks into gear, Republican Greg Gianforte starts with a big financial advantage over Democrat Mike Cooney. Yet the two candidates weren't that far apart when it came to campaign fundraising last month. Congressman Gianforte raised $248,000 during the period. Lieutenant Governor Cooney raised $207,000. Still, Gianforte has raised a whopping $3.8 million for his campaign, compared to about $1.1 million for Cooney. Gianforte has already spent nearly $3.3 million on his campaign and still had almost $600,000 left last week. Now, Cooney starts the general election campaign with about $169,000. Gianforte's fundraising total includes $1.5 million of his own money. Well, the Billings City Council is working towards adopting a 2021 city budget tonight and passing the second reading of ballot language to get a levy to Billings voters. Rate increases are on the table for Billings parks and recreation facilities. The police and fire departments also may be asked to cut $250,000 from their budgets. If Billings voters approve the planned mill levy increase, the city could see an extra $4 million. The city may go out for another mill levy next year to avoid dipping into city reserves. Well, Montana 4-H'ers have just a few weeks before they take their projects to market at the upcoming fair, and some seniors are saying goodbye to the program. MTN's Phoenix O'Connor met up with them and has the story.
Some people may think, okay, all you do is raise an animal and sell it, but there's a lot more into, like, you actually have to take care of that animal. You have to go out there every morning, you have to feed, you have to walk, you have to do anything with that animal you can, basically become its best friend if you can, where some people may think you just raise it and then take it to auction.
For 17-year-old Ashton McHoff, this is his first time raising a steer and his last project with 4-H. Normally he sticks to poultry, but not just chickens, but peacocks too.
I thought they were just beautiful birds, and I mean, it's kind of one of those exotic things that, you know, nobody else has, and why not get one if you can find one?
He will not be alone. Madeline Pendes is also a senior. She will be saying goodbye to the 4-H program after 8 years, which included the shooting team. She says that showing a steer this year for her project taught her about commitment.
It's important to know, like, how the real world is. And I mean, I know, like, livestock is different than everything else. But honestly, I think it ties in with everything that people do like every single day.
And what is the biggest misconception that you feel that 4-H has?
It's not about selling the animal. It's just something that you have to do to be a part of the project, unless you do like breeding animals. But I think people don't understand that we like actually do care about the animals. We put in a ton of time with them, and like they're not just a profit. They're like an investment of our personal time as well.
Back at the ranch with Ashton, for the next few weeks, he's beefing up his steer, which includes feeding his livestock with these white pellets to be ready for the sale later this summer.
It's just one of those things that you accomplished it. It's a big step to just know that you actually did really well at fair. You sold it, you did what you needed to do.
In Helena, Phoenix O'Connor, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Phoenix. And we have an update tonight. The Pasture Drive-In in Manhattan, Montana is already sold out of Garth Brooks tickets, but don't fret. Garth is also showing on the big screen closer to home. This Saturday, Garth Brooks will also play at Billings Amusement Park Drive-In near Laurel and in western Montana at the Ferroplex in Hamilton. Tickets are on sale, and when I checked about 5 o'clock, they were still available at Ticketmaster.com. Tickets are $100 per car, and since we are still social distancing, please gather your immediate family members for the concert. Again, the show will be this Saturday night. Well, up next on tonight's 5:30 News, from COVID testing to more stimulus checks, we hear from President Donald Trump as he does a one-on-one with Scripps. And in sports, Scott has information released today from the Frontier Conference regarding this fall's sports season.
And coming up in weather, just a few spotty showers moving across eastern Montana tonight, and most of those are moving away from the Billings area. So what's coming up next? We'll have the answer in a few more minutes.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.